Hi everyone, welcome back to Numerics with Nadia. In today's lesson, we're going to go over how to multiply decimals. If you haven't watched all the other videos in this decimal playlist yet, please go back and watch that one. We have learned what decimals are, how to compare them, and how to add and subtract so far. So I would watch those foundational videos before starting this one. Our learning objectives for today's lesson are first off going to be how to multiply a whole number by a decimal, and then we're going to get into how to multiply decimals together. So it's two parts. If you want to skip to the second part and you feel comfortable multiplying decimals by whole numbers, go ahead and do so, but I do think that a quick review of that will be helpful to build a strong foundation when it comes to multiplying decimals. All right, you guys, let's go over the steps on how to multiply decimals. We're going to start with how to multiply decimals by a whole number for part one. The first step, you're just going to multiply as normal. So as if we're multiplying regular numbers, we're going to multiply as normal. And then we're going to count the number of place values from the decimal point and just add it in at the end. So you might not be familiar with what this is going to look like, but we're going to work through some examples of really understanding what the place values are, how to add them in at the end, and just going through all of these as a whole. So as we've said before, practice makes progress, right? So we're going to go through a few examples here to really paint a picture of how these steps correlate. So for number one, we're going to do 4.8 times 7, right? Decimal times a whole number. And what was our first step? Multiply as normal. 8 times 7 gives me 56. 4 times 7, 28. Plus the 5 will give me 33, right? Now we're going to count the number of place values. The 4.8 has one place value, right? It has one away from the decimal point. So we're going to add in one place value to our answer as well. So our answer would be 33.6 for number one. We'll follow the same two simple steps for number two as well. For number two, we have 7.19 times 16. So a good review of just multiplying as a whole as well. We have a 3-digit number times a 2-digit number. We know that 9 times 6 gives me 54. 6 times 1, 6 plus 5, 11. And then 7 times 6 gives me 42 plus 1 is 43. We make sure that we put in the 0 before multiplying everything by 1, right? And then when we add down, we get the 4, we get 10, we get 5 and 11. Now we're going to look at our problem again. How many place values do we have? We have 2 in this one. So we're going to put in 2 for our answer as well. And our answer would be 115.04 for number 2. Let's go through one more example to really build a strong foundation on this. For number 3, we're going to have 3.472 times 4. We know that 2 times 4 gives me 8, 7 times 4 gives me 28, carry the 2, 4 times 4 is 16, plus 2 is 18, carry the 1, and 4 times 3 is 12, plus 1 gives me 13. Now we're going to look. The 3.472 has 3 place values, so we would add in 3 into our answer as well. So we would get 13.888 for number 3. All right, you guys, now that we've gone through a few examples on how to multiply a decimal by a whole number, we're going to go through and multiply a few decimals together to get some practice in. For number 4, we have 2.1 times 1.5. Same 2 steps as before. We're going to multiply like normal. 1 times 5 gives me 5. 2 times 5 gives me 10. We put in the 0. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 1 is 2. We're going to add down. We get 315. Now our 2.1 has 1 place value and our 1.5 had 1 place value. So our answer will have 2 place values. We're going to add those together. Our answer would have 2 place values and be 3.15 for number 4. Now we'll move on to number 5. For number 5, we have 12.4 times 0.2. Multiply like normal again. 4 times 2 gives us 8. 2 times 2 gives us 4. And 1 times 2 gives us 2. Now our answer, how many place values is it going to have? The 12.4 had one, the 0.2 had one, so our answer will have 2, right? And it would be 2.48 for number 5. All right, let's move on to our next practice problem. For number 6, we have 6.109 times 8.4. So multiply like normal again. 9 times 4 gives me 36. 4 times 0 just gives me 0, right? Plus 3 would be 3. 1 times 4 is 4, and then 6 times 4 is 24. We'll add in our 0, move into our second digit. We know that 8 times 9 is 72, so we'll carry our 7. We know 8 times 0 is just 0, right? Plus 7, we'll have our 7, and then 6 times 8 gives us 48. So we will add down, we'll get 6, 5, 11, carry the 1, that'll give us 13, carry the 1, that'll give us 11, and then 4 plus 1 just gives me 5. So we'll go through now, count our place values. We have 3 for our first decimal and 1 for our second decimal. So our final answer will have 4 place values in it. So we'll go over 4 and we will get 51.3156 for number 6. Now let's move on to our last question for this lesson. It's going to be a challenge problem. And for number 7, we're going to have 0.0021 times 18.2. So the only thing that makes this a little bit more challenging is all the zeros in our first decimal, but we're going to be just fine. Let's get into it. We always are going to put our biggest number on top. So we have our 18.2 on top. I'll write our 0.0021 underneath it. And again, multiply like normal. 2 times 1 is 2, 8 times 1 is 8, and 1 times 1 is 1. We'll move on to our second row. We'll put in our 0 first. 2 times 2 is 4, 8 times 2 is 16, carry the 1, 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. We will add straight down. We'll get 2, 12, we'll carry the 1, we'll get 8, and 3. Now here we want to just be very careful counting everything. Our first decimal has 1 place value, right? And then our second one has 1, 2, 3, 4. So our final answer is going to have 5 decimal values. So let's go in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What are we going to do because we have this little empty space? We're going to fill that in with a 0. So our final answer will be 0.03822. All right, you guys, great job today. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to watch the other videos in our decimals playlist. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. Please comment any other video ideas you would like to see, and I will see you next time.